Yay!
All right, here we go. Sorry about that.
No, no sweat, no sweat. You know, when you're trying to do something new in the world, that happens.
Yeah, I've never done this before where you like join a live. Like I've only just seen people's live stuff and just commented on it. So
All good. This is a fantastic Tuesday, and it's a perfect Tuesday to do new things. I was trying to log on via computer, and then the computer said, "I hate you," and then I called the iPad, and the iPad was like, "We don't know if we want to play with you today," and here we are.
here we go.
How you doing?
Told. I'm great. How are you?
Good, good, good. I, I was telling the crew that's watching, we got about 4 people watching. Joanna's watching. Hey, Joanna. Hey, Tamisha. Hey, Thomas W. Brown Jr. They're all watching from all over the country. And I was telling them whenever you try to do something new, sometimes you're going to have these little hiccups. So,
Right. So I scrolled down and I saw where it was like that you were live, and I was like, hey, that's where I'm supposed to be.
I love it. I love it. No, no shame in the game. I was telling them that the reason why the board wanted to start this and the reason why I wanted to start this was because our alumni all over the country are simply amazing. We learned that when we met each other at the 40th anniversary event. And I'm like, these stories have to continually be told about, this amazing school and program that we all came through, and then how it directly connects with our day-to-day success.
Exactly.
And so I'm glad you're here. Now start off by telling everybody, what year did you finish community?
1987.
1987. What was going on that year? Like what was in trend? What was the hot thing?
Oh my goodness. So Michael Jackson, Prince, Madonna, they were all New Edition. They were all so popular during that time. The Thriller album came out, Purple Rain came out. I guess during the 4 years well, the girls anyway, we were wearing day glow fluorescent socks and shirts and
Like at
whatever.
school?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Oh God, what else? I guess by that time, video games were sort of becoming the rage. We had Atari at home. God, I'm telling my age, and arcades were popping up. So yeah, that was kind of what it was.
Do you remember what your favorite Atari game was?
Oh goodness, yes. I just can't think of the name of it. Oh, Keystone Capers, I think it was called. It was this game where the guy was trying to escape from the prison or whatever, but you played it with the paddles and not the joystick.
Oh, your
And
your Atari had paddles?
yeah, so you had a joystick and then you had like a knob paddle type thing, and so you played with that for that game. And he's like up at the top dropping bombs on the police or whatever. So a friend of mine who I've literally known from the day he was born, not a community grad or student, but we grew up together, so we used to play it all the time. Yeah, I think that was what it was called. I have no idea. It was fun though.
I love it. I love it. So tell me about your entrance into community.
Oh boy. So I was in the 8th grade at George Wythe High School when I got the letter telling me about the school and the application process. I wasn't all too sure about it because I was like, I don't want to go there. I don't know anybody that's going there. And my cousin told me, "Oh, you will take this opportunity." So she is a retired Richmond Public School teacher. She was a teacher for like 30 years. So she says, when I was your age, we didn't have these type of opportunities. So you're taking this opportunity. So I did. So, gosh, I can't even remember. I know that there was an application process. I think there was an interview. And then at some point, you get selected. And we had, gosh, if I remember correctly, an orientation sometime this summer
Mm-hmm.
before we started.
Yep.
Where we met our classmates and teachers and everything. So it was, back then, I guess it really didn't seem like it was all that big of a deal because you're doing it. So, no big deal. But looking back on it, I'm like, wow, yeah, that was a pretty big deal when you consider that my class graduated with 62 students, I think it was.
Oh, you had bigger classes back then.
Yes, so when I came in, community was taking a new class every 2 years. So there was my freshman year, my freshman class, and then the junior class that graduated the next year. So so yeah, there were only two classes my freshman year. My sophomore year was when they started taking classes every year. So we started with maybe about 68 or so people,
Hmm.
and it was about 62 or 64 when we graduated.
Wow, wow. Is there
Yeah.
anything you remember about your incoming class? Like, because I remember for us that we were sitting in the circle down in the, in the cafeteria, and all of these, smart but different students around.
Yeah. So I guess what was a little bit, and I don't know if it's necessarily the same now, but because they were only taking classes every 2 years, I was a traditional freshman. Like I had been to eighth grade, but there were folks that had come from sixth grade or seventh grade because of how, students were enrolled at that time. Um, I don't know. The one thing that always stood out for me was that of the people that I knew from, elementary through middle school, I was the only girl of those people, of my peers that went to community that year.
Uh,
None of my girlfriends came.
how did that make you feel at the time?
Really kind of weird because I don't have a friend. There were probably five or six boys that I'd been in school with, definitely in middle school, some in elementary school, but none of the girls that I knew. So it was a little weird to go there and not have a best girlfriend. But I met some wonderful, wonderful women, I'll call them now, Shelly Carter, Letitia Clark, Janine Mayfield. Um, Alicia. Oh goodness, why can't I think of her last name? Oh, okay. Forgive me, Alicia.
No, RCHS famous, just Alicia.
Yeah. So, but yeah, but I met some wonderful, wonderful girls who became my friends. And then just some wonderful people in general. Because of course, for people who don't know that may be watching that aren't community students or graduates, we came from all over the city.
Mhm.
So, got to meet and be in school with people. Rochelle Lee is another, with people that I never probably would have met otherwise.
That's cool. What is your favorite memory from RCHS? If you had to
So,
pull it down.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. My favorite memory is the camping trip. So, freshman year, we went for 9 days.
Oh,
Right. And we went to three locations. So my group, our first location was in a house, which was cool because we got to take a shower. Then we went to Browns Island,
hmm.
and we were there for however many days. My group's final part of the trip was on a barrier island, which of course we had all learned in our science class that the barrier island is the island that protects, or the landmass that protects the mainland from the storms. So
Yes.
it's great. We're going to go there. Wonderful. So we go out on the boat. We drop our stuff off at the campsite. Get back on the boat because we're going to go and catch some fish to have for dinner. We're out there and a storm comes up, so we have to go back to the barrier island where our campsite is. So on that island, the tents were like two-person tents.
Hmm.
And I can just remember being in a two-person tent with about six or seven other girls because we were scared. We were a little scared. Hadn't had anything to eat. finally someone was brave enough to go out of the tent and get a gallon of milk and a bag of Oreo cookies. And that was our dinner. But so I mean, the camping trip. I mean, there are a lot of great memories from from the camping trip, but that one always sticks out to me because it's like, here we are on this thing on this island that's like, are we really supposed to be here? Like, and then here comes a storm that this island is supposed to protect the mainland from, but we're on the island, so great. But
So let's get blown away too in the middle of all of this.
right, right. So just, oh my goodness, who is in my group? Letitia and Shelly. I think Margaret Rada was in our group too. So there we are. And like I said, this two-person tent, it was like 6 or 7 of us because we weren't going in the two-person tent by ourselves.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Oh, we got some comments down here. Kevin Hart says community. Tamisha
Hey,
B.
Kevin.
Kudos. Let's see who else is in the space right now. Okay, I think it's just the two of us for now, so we'll just keep going.
Okay.
Was there a second favorite trip of yours?
So I think the second favorite trip for me was New York because of the cultural experiences I knew that we were going to have. I'm a lifelong dancer, so we were going to see the New York City Ballet,
Yeah.
and was just over the moon excited about that. I saw my first Broadway play in New York. So first Broadway play in New York, but also first Broadway play ever. And we saw the Tap Dance Kid, which was amazing. We like just missed Alfonso Riviera, but it was amazing. But yeah, definitely New York. I guess my most memorable experience or yeah experience there was we went to Tiffany and I tried on like this $500,000 diamond engagement ring.
Okay. Okay.
So that was cool.
Yeah.
Get it, but you know.
You got to dream a little bit of the future to come.
Right, just a little bit, yeah.
I think that was a great thing about community. Community used the mini master events, if you will, or those
Mm-hmm.
to expand our mind
Mm-hmm.
beyond what anything. I mean, I think I saw Les Mis for the first time, like on the New York Mini Master. So that'd be my second favorite too. What was your favorite academic memory? Oh wait, before you said, Kevin Hart says, "Were you with Will and Shay on the camping trip?"
I don't think so.
Okay,
No.
okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Um, my favorite academic memory. So I'm not exactly sure what that question means, so I'm gonna answer it how I think it.
Yeah.
What?
Were there any classes that really helped form the person that you
Okay.
become? Were there any teachers that were like rock stars?
Okay. So, I don't know. I just feel like the classes in general were just it's just all good. It's just all good. Jane Westbrook was my class's history, social studies teacher for all but 1 year. And I am not a history kind of person. Not, I can say that, not in the way that it's done in school. Because in school, it's about dates and places and doesn't really dig deep enough for me. So I didn't really enjoy history in school prior to getting to high school. Ms. Westbrook brought history to life
Mm.
um, because, if we were talking about ancient Asian culture, then we were bringing in food and making things. So I actually, okay, with the help of my mom, because I don't show, hey, Erica, uh, made a kimono.
Oh, you
And
you made an actual full.
well, just the robe, if you will, with the help of my mom. And then the other part, so they wear the obi. which is the wraparound that sort of has the pillow look on the back. So there was at the time a Japanese restaurant that was across from what was then the fairground, which is now the Richmond International Raceway. And I went there, and the owners were actually Japanese, and they taught me the female owner taught me how to tie the obi. So I was able to bring that to my classmates, so and show them. So I think it was Alicia actually Harrington. That may be her married name. Anyway, she was the one that I believe I tied it on. So that was just a really different experience that I never would. I don't think I would have had anywhere else. As far as teachers are concerned, I mean, all of them are amazing. Ms. Green, Ms. Westbrook, Ms. Liu, Ms. Dockery. But I think the one that probably had the most lasting impact was Ms. Green. She was our freshman English teacher, and from day one, she expected perfection. Yeah, perfection.
Okay. She just raised the level like that high.
Like walk in the door and it needs to be right all the time. So we have our first class with her. Of course, she gives us homework. The next day we come in, and I believe it was just something as simple as answering some questions about something. But there was a student who did not use complete sentences. So, the whole, where was Bob? Bob was blah, 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 instead of just saying at home. So he just said at home, he just said at home. And she had taken her red pen and she made an F across the entire page.
What?
The entire page. But, she, like I said, she knew what we were capable of and she expected it.
Yep.
And she didn't expect any less. That being said, I mean, she was an amazing English teacher. She taught us how to write research papers, which of course helped us immensely when we got to college. But she just taught you just some life stuff.
Mm.
I, her family, maybe my sophomore year, she had all the girls to her house and my family to just talk about girl stuff.
Yeah.
Um,
Wow. Wow.
we had a sleepover at her house. And so, I mean, that was completely outside of what she was required to do as a teacher. Um, but she had us over for a sleepover, and we did fun stuff and whatnot, but we also talked about things that were important to girls at that age. So she was just a wonderful, wonderful person. She was hard. She was really hard. She, like I said, she demanded the very best, but at the end, we were the better for it. Unfortunately, we lost her a few years ago, several years ago, actually now. But interestingly enough, what her funeral did was bring a lot of us together that hadn't seen each other in a really long time.
Wow.
So even she was influencing us and, having an effect over our lives.
Wow. That's great.
Yeah, Miss Green, Priscilla Green.
Rest in power, Priscilla Green. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
I should say always like thank you to our past and present teachers at
Right.
RCHS because they do go above and beyond like everything that you see.
So it's funny because I was, you'll see stuff, post on social media, and it's like not grammatically correct or something isn't spelled right, and I'm like, I like the concept of that, but I can't like it because Miss Green will reach from heaven and like smack me. And I've talked to other classmates and other students that also had her, and they're like, yeah, if I post something and it's not correct, like I have to go back and edit it because it can't be incorrect because of her.
Wow. Yeah. Eric Quander, I hope I'm pronouncing your last name properly. We're talking about Miss
Mhm.
Priscilla Green.
Mhm.
Around the time of class of 87. Erica
Mhm.
says she is a legend. Eric Quanders is repping the class of 88. Erica Nixon is repping the class of 94. How do you Bernard says I was a counselor with that group, and we had a bad storm on the island too. So
I think they may have had the storm was probably on Brown's Island that night because I think it came across the barrier and went on over to Brown's Island, which was like the main location for that camping trip. So
it was moving, trying to blow y'all away.
it was like these babies are out in tents, so let's go get them.
Oh my gosh. Eric Water says, of course, I steal my teaching style from her and Mrs. Luraka. Do you remember Miss Luraka?
Yeah. Mrs. Luraka,
sorry.
Ms. Lou when we got there. Later, Mr. Roca joined our teaching staff, and at some point they became husband and wife.
Wait. There was RCH love connection.
There was a love connection. So they're out in California now. I think at some point she left Richmond and went to Connecticut to teach for a while. Okay. And she's retired, but she's out in California. But yeah, I only had the good fortune to have Ms. Lou for one math class. It was geometry. She was tough. Like Miss Green.
That feels like there's a theme going on here of like RCHS having tough teachers.
Yeah, absolutely. They were some of the teachers that were a part of the very beginnings of RCHS. So they had a stake in it,
Yeah.
And making sure that we lived up to what the school was supposed to be about.
So good. So you move through your 4 years at community, and you get to the very end of your community experience. And what's going on for you? Where are we planning to go to school? Like, what's the buzz?
Oh my goodness! So we're all in the process of taking SAT and applying to college, and I really had no idea where I wanted to go. I did not want to go to school in Virginia because I didn't want. Oh, Erica is right. Senorita Willis was very.
Was she there in the 80s too? Uh-oh. We got a connection issue, fam. Let's see what happens. Not retired. She's still teaching. Oh, wait. There, you're back now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was saying, Erica had said that Senorita Willis was very tough in Spanish, and she was. I had her as well.
You had her in the 80s. See, I didn't know she was still. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So sophomore year, she did not allow any English in her class.
Oh yes.
Yeah. So, but anyway, so everybody's applying to school. I don't know where I want to go. I knew I did not want to go to school in Virginia because I wanted to go to school with new people. I didn't want to go to school with the people that I'd known for the past, 13 years of schooling and everything.
Yeah.
So, so I go to the college fair, still having no idea where I want to go to college. Everybody else knew. I didn't know. So we're walking around, and we walk past this table for North Carolina A&T, and the recruiter or rep, he goes, "Where are you going to college?" And I was like, "I don't know." He goes, "What do you want to major in?" So I said, "Accounting." He said, "Well, let me tell you why you need to go to North Carolina A&T." So he lays out why I need to go to A&T, about the business school, about the accounting program, all of these just amazing accolades. And so I'm like, okay. So I grab the application, I go home, and I tell my mom, I'm going to North Carolina A&T. She's like, oh, okay, sure, whatever. So I had never heard of A&T. I really didn't know anything about it, but I decided that was where I was going. I filled out the application, I sent it in. I began an application to James Madison because my good friends Letitia and Janine were going there, and Shelly, I believe. So, okay, I'll go ahead. I got to the essay part and I was like, I don't want to go to school. I don't want to do this application. So I didn't do it. So I do not recommend this, but I applied to one school.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I did the same. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So outside of Miss Green's classroom, by this time we were in the Maggie Walker building. So outside of her classroom, there's just whole up the wall, just everybody's names with where they've been accepted to school. And,
Oh,
you
wow.
know, people have, you know, like 3 and 4, you know, different places. And my mom asked me before I got accepted, she's like, well, what are you going to do if they don't let you in? And I'm like, well, I'm just going to go down there until they do.
Right. Yes.
All right. So, you know, with that, it was all about, you know, getting ready for college and, you know, applying and being accepted. And it was, you know, about prom and, you know, just all of that. Just, you know, I guess the normal high school stuff, but in its own unique RCHS.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Okay, so you did go there.
I did go there.
Okay, so this is where I'm going to cut to this awesome bio that you sent. You said you're a native of Richmond, you attended Richmond Public Schools, and graduated from Richmond Community High in 1984. You graduated from North Carolina A&T May 1991 with a BS in accounting, and then you were commissioned as an officer in the United States Navy.
Mm-hmm.
Served active duty until 1998, and then this is where I was like, I didn't even know this about her, which is the whole reason why I want to do these profiles, is because I'm like we actually stay in contact quite frequently through comments and likes on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that you earned your Juris Doctorate from Marshall-Wythe School of Law at the College of William and Mary in May 2001. How did that happen?
So when I was an undergrad, and maybe even before that, I kind of had this inkling that I wanted to go to law school.
Hold on 1 second, 1 second. So Eric is saying he connected with Senorita recently. He remembered the wall that you would ascend to the second staircase. Eric's saying, got a scoop, but he's going to tune in the next time. So bye, Eric. Thank you for tuning in. Tell everybody. Okay, Neil, sorry about that. Back to your.
So thought I wanted to go to law school. So while I was at A&T, I got contacted by the Navy about a program that they had, that baccalaureate degree completion program. It was a program that they used primarily to attract minority students, college students into Navy officer programs. Anybody could apply for it, but it was a tool that the Navy used for that purpose. So the way the program was set up was that you came on active, if accepted, you would come on active duty while you were in college and go to school and make 3.0 and graduate when you contracted with them, when you said you would graduate. So that put the kibosh on law school, you know, immediately after undergrad, because as it turns out, I needed the money.
Yeah,
And so
that's life.
so it turned out to be a really good deal, because I ended up leaving undergrad with no loans.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Exactly. Hallelujah moment.
That is amazing. Yeah, good.
Well, then of course college was a lot less expensive back then. So, but yeah, so that kind of put the kibosh on going to law school after undergrad. Still kind of had the inkling. So I'm in the Navy. The Navy had a program, or has a program, where active duty officers can, if selected, would go to law school, and then after graduating law school would become members of the Judge Advocate General Corps, the JAG, Navy JAGs, Navy lawyers.
Wait. Okay. I'm. Huh?
Didn't do that.
Okay.
I didn't do that because there was a window within which you could apply between 2 and 6 years of active duty. Because I had active duty time while I was in school, it kind of pushed me in a weird window for being able to apply when I was very junior, or like just in the Navy, applying with folks that were senior to me and had more experience. So I didn't get accepted to the program. So I said, okay, well, we'll figure it out. And so I went on and did one more tour. And that's after that, that's when I went to law school. Yeah, so.
Wow. What has been your experience in engaging with that part of your life?
So I guess I do what would be considered a more non-traditional practice of law.
Mm,
Um, so the year after I graduated law school, I clerked for Judge then, now Justice Cleo Powell, who sits on the Virginia Supreme Court. At the time, she was circuit court judge in Chesterfield. So I clerked for her for a year. And then about um, what was that, 02? So probably about 6 or 7 months after that, I started working in the tax department, state tax department in
mhm.
Virginia. And the work that I do there is tax law on behalf of the Commonwealth.
Cool,
So
cool, cool. So I,
nobody nobody really likes the tax department. So usually I'm like, what do you do? And I'm like, I work for the Commonwealth of Virginia. And they're like, oh, really? What do you do? And I'm like, I work for the tax department. And they're like, so,
all right, listen, death and taxes. Lisa's coming for you.
exactly.
Look, that's job security. I don't want that.
It is absolutely job security because, yeah, we
And
work a lot.
I mean, this is just for me and part the four viewers. Pardon me, because I'm gonna geek out for a second. But like, is it? It's the law piece of the tax code.
Right, right. So, um, obviously, there's state code that applies to state taxes, just like federal code applies to federal taxes. So the unit that I work in within the department handles appeals and rulings, offers and compromise, and recruit and ruling requests for the department. And we draft responses to those filings from taxpayers on behalf of the tax commissioner.
Okay.
So if a taxpayer, and I primarily work with the state sales tax, which most people, nobody, unless you work in it, realizes that the sales tax touches everything, not just the shirt that you bought.
Oh wow.
So, yeah, so I'm dealing with manufacturing companies and restaurants, communications companies, because the sales tax touches them in the products that they buy to be able to do the work that they do. So if they get audited and they don't agree with that audit, then they appeal to the department, and that's where
Yeah.
my unit comes in.
Yeah, and that's very legal. Very legal. How do you think the art that RCHS, if at all, prepared you for the work that you're currently doing?
So I think probably in a couple ways. For one, I think RCHS prepared me for life in that I'm not necessarily timid about taking a chance to
Okay.
new. So like I said before at the beginning, I went to community without a girlfriend. And so when I joined the Navy, or I joined the Navy by myself.
Hmm.
I went. There were students at A&T that were from community. Japanese Sharp was in my class, and we were down there together. But again, I mean, I went away from home. That like my mom was like, "You're not going that far away from home." Like she just didn't believe it would happen. But
Hmm.
you know, just by going to community and taking that leap of faith, and doing something that was completely different than anybody else that I knew that was in high school that wasn't at community with me, just led me to be able to do those things, to go to A&T through, at that time, it was like 4 hours away, and
Hmm.
then go to the Navy and end up, who knows where I was going to end up. Um, but so yeah, for that. But I also think that, community, the curriculum, the rigor of the curriculum requires that you do so much
Hmm.
and that you do it well.
Yeah.
And it just becomes a part of you that, kind of like, the mountain really isn't that high. I really can tackle the mountain. But I also know that I don't have to tackle the whole mountain at one time. I can take pieces of the mountain and, work my way up. But I think community prepares you for that, to be able to look at life challenges and know that you can do it, and then be able to devise a plan to do that.
Yeah. Wow. 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 All right, so this is the moment. Let me see what my show notes say. This is the moment. Okay, let's see. So that we did that for the past 16 years, which we've been working on. Your hobbies include dancing, acting, and modeling, and you also volunteer for various organizations. You have a son, Christopher, a graduate of VCU, Virginia Commonwealth University. Tell us briefly about how your hobbies and your volunteering and your parenting
Oh my.
your life. I know, I know.
No.
I just.
So, right. I've been dancing my entire life.
Mm.
My entire life. Can't not dance. Have to dance. Like my dance class right now is on hiatus for the rest of the month, and I'm like, dancing just my whole life. I really that's it. Modeling. I actually. So here's the story. Summer after sophomore year at community, we had to do summer school and it had to be in the arts. Of course, I danced.
Yes.
So go to Richmond Dance Center, which was a studio that I'd started taking dance class at when I was in the third grade. We did ballet in the morning, jazz in the evening. Our dance instructor, Myra Wren at the time, Myra Darling now, was organizing a dance competition. We entered. We danced to the glamorous life. We had on the day glow and the Madonna ankle socks and the lace and the lace gloves. We won. We won tickets to see Dancing, a Broadway play that came to Richmond.
Okay.
We also, after that, danced at a talent show in Richmond. And then, oh goodness, I can't think of the guy, but the guy that like produced all the shows in Richmond then asked us, and I really don't know how this happened. Like, whose mom did he ask? I don't know. But we ended up dancing at the Coliseum. LL Cool J was performing, but prior to him coming on stage, there was a lip sync contest, and then it was us, and we got to dance, and it was fabulous. Elaine Cameron.
Tamisha Pinky Williams wants to know what kind of dance was it?
That it was a jazz number that we did to the glamorous life.
Okay, so a jazz style dance moves.
A jazz number that we did to the glamorous life that I can only remember very small parts of it, but it was fabulous.
So through community summer school, you got to open for LL Cool J.
Yes.
You can literally say, I opened for LL Cool J.
No, I never looked at it like that. I'm totally saying that from now on.
It doesn't matter. Like, I opened for LL Cool J.
And so we got to meet him backstage, and
LL Cool J.
Years, so he's like our age, but he was cool. He was really cool. So even back then.
Tamisha's clarifying her question. What type of dance do you do now?
Oh, so right now, primarily I take a class called Be Moved. It is a it's a style of dance program that was developed by Sherry Zunker out of Chicago. And
Say it again. So
it's called Be Moved.
Be Moved. Okay.
Be Moved. So developed by Sherry Zunker, who is a dancer choreographer out of Chicago. She put it together because she had gotten to a point in her life where she wasn't able to do fouettes and pirouettes and grand jetés, and she still wanted to dance.
Yeah.
So she put this program together. Her friend said, hey, you have to share this with the world. So circle back around, Myra Darling, who I took class from when I was in third grade, and then again at community, is now teaching it here in Richmond. Tuesday nights at 5:30. If you're interested, hit me up and I will let you know. I also myself, this past September, got certified to teach. So I'm working on getting myself in a position so that I can teach, and we'll probably be teaching a couple of classes for her this fall. So.
Exciting! Congratulations!
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
I've always been it, but that's like full circle.
It's completely full circle. Yeah.
Aya Johnson says Hosea Fox is the man who did all the shows?
Absolutely. That's correct.
Wow.
That is correct.
Wow. I want to give alumni the opportunity every time they come on to just brag a little bit about other cool things that are going on in their world. What are you most proud of right now before I go? We can't do morning meeting announcements because clearly it's not morning and we're not.
Right.
But I'm going to do those after we wrap this with you. Thank you for everybody who's watching. Let's see who's on right now. Kiel Miller's on. Binky's on. What are you proud of right now? What's making your heart sing? Because I see your social media posts. I see all this love and light and positivity. You were larger than life in your energy when I met you at the 40th anniversary gala, tomato.
Exactly.
And we knew that we had to connect.
Right.
And know that there's joy pouring out of you. What are you most proud of right now in your day to day?
Okay, so to answer Tamisha's question, Myra did work at University of Richmond. She stood up the dance program there, but she retired there about 5 years ago.
There's definitely connect because that's where Binky went.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she headed up the dance program at Richmond, at University of Richmond. Mm-hmm.
Talk about those bridges. Yeah, go on.
So the thing that I'm most proud of, I'd have to say my son.
Okay, Christopher, right?
Christopher. Being a mom is easily the hardest and the best job I've ever had.
Happy Mother's Day, by the way. Yeah.
Right. And I'm glad to see that because I was trying to get emotional. I ain't trying to cry on Facebook. But I would have to say my son. He's 26 years old. He's a college graduate. He has a job, his own place. He's my life. He's always, from the day he was born, been just an amazing person.
Wow.
I told him a few years ago that if I did not know him, if he was not my son, I would want to know him. I see him interacting. So I have a brother, and my brother has a daughter that she and my son are the same age. But then my brother also has twin boys who just turned 5. And then my niece has a daughter who's 2. And I just see him interacting with them and, any of of his younger cousins, and, just how he's always so patient with them, but then always, imparting knowledge. When my nephews were young, he's always talking to them about science and math when they didn't even know their names,
Okay.
But, he's just a genuinely good person. And, I know for sure that, that's just how God intended him. But, but, yeah, that I would say my son.
Well, the apple did not fall far from the tree, ma'am, because you are fantastic yourself. I just had a stroke of insight as what my last question will be on the fly. And it just like downloaded out of the sky. So I'm going to ask it to you. What do you want to say to the students at RCHS right now?
Right now?
Yeah.
Okay. So first I would tell them that decisions determine destiny. The decisions you make today, in the next 5 minutes, tomorrow, determines how your life goes forward. And so to consciously make good choices, to use the best information that you have, and if you need more information, get it, to make that decision. And that's something that I told my son constantly, and I tell him now. The other thing I think I would tell them is to celebrate themselves. I actually was having this conversation with a colleague just yesterday. She's been at the department about 2 years now, maybe a year and a half, younger than me. And we were just talking. We'd actually been talking about a case that we were working on, but then just talking about different things. And I told her that it is important to celebrate yourself. Life will kick you in the teeth, in the back, all at the same time.
Yeah.
All at the same time. And it is very easy to lose sight of yourself and to get mired in that disaster and stay there. But I believe, and I say this from a place of experience, that if you remind yourself of the things that you've done, of the things that when you did them, you were so proud of yourself, that those things will help you to get up out of that trench you found yourself in.
Yes.
And even if you aren't in the trench, so don't wait till you're in the trench to celebrate yourself or to remember or to have that walk down memory lane. But if nothing more, it gives you a little bounce to your step that, you didn't have the day before or the minute before. So, you know, people don't want to be, some people probably don't care, but the average person doesn't want to be looked upon as being vain or arrogant or braggadocious. So we hide our stuff, you
Yeah.
know. We hide our stuff, we hide our magna cum laudes, we hide our, you know, positions on boards or whatever it is that we've done that took some hard work and that we're proud of. But at the end of the day, we shouldn't. And if nothing more, we should not hide them from ourselves.
Yeah.
Celebrate yourself. Celebrate all those A's you made. Celebrate that graduation, that job, whatever it is. Celebrate it. Celebrate that, I don't know, you pick some strawberries and they're like the best strawberries ever,
Yeah.
but celebrate yourself and remember the good things that you've done because, like I said, they pull you out of that trench. And if you're not in the trench, then they give you that boost that you just might need that day to say, hey, I'm amazing. And it's okay to be amazing.
Ah, that's a word, Lisa. That's a word. Oh my gosh, you're so amazing. Um,
Thank you.
you really are. You really are, and I'm very glad that you were the first guest because this is like the strongest. I had some green screen issues and some getting online issues, but you just dropped the word. Like so, yeah. RCHS. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. All right. So for those of you who are still watching, first of all, thank you, Lisa Finklea, for being
Thank
here.
you.
You're amazing.
You're asking me.
Hmm?
I appreciate your asking me.
Oh, like first top of the top. For real, for real. May 14th is the Chipotle school fundraiser. I guess that's going on right now as we speak. They want you to come to the Chipotle at 10 Northern, is it Nansmond Street, Suite D?
Naismon, I think it is. Naismon.
Nansmond. In
Mm-hmm.
Richmond between 5 and 9. So I guess they've got 2 minutes. And they want
Uh-oh.
to let them know that you're supporting Richmond Community High, and 33% of the proceeds from the meal will be donated to the school. So come out, one and all, students, families, board members. We'll keep doing these so we can announce those a little earlier in advance. And then they're celebrating the class of 2019 on May 22nd at 8 a.m. The Alumni Association will be hosting the annual senior breakfast to celebrate this year's graduating students and welcome them into the distinguished ranks of the RCHS Alumni Association. Alumnus, if you're out and about and in the area, you're encouraged to come and find out more about this stellar group of young adults. RSVP with Allison Owens at rchsfund@gmail. And then also know that the Alumni Association, I sit on that board as the communications director. They're seeking new executive board members and have launched a communication campaign that we're sitting in to highlight all of you alumni.
Nine.
Draw nigh, he said. so all of you, alumni, if you want to come on and chop it up and talk about RCHS, please send us a message through Facebook. We're watching that. Seniors who are watching, the Beasley family is offering a $1,000 gift and scholarship to a senior applicant that can be used for incidentals needed to start. So that's not even books. That's like,
Yeah, that's like bed sheets and notebook paper.
I'm here for all of that.
Or a computer.
Yeah, it says for purchasing a computer, meal plan, or necessities. So please take a minute to share information about your community service experience to apply for this award. And then also know that mini masters will be the week of May 20th to 24th. So someone's going to get blown around like you were. We hope not. We hope not. May 20th through the 24th. Thank you to all of you who have helped support the Friends of Richmond Community High School initiative to provide financial support so that all of the students can attend. They're still collecting sponsorships, so if you're interested in helping, you can give at supportrchs.com.
Pow.
Pow. Mic drop. So thanks to everybody who's been watching. This week we'll be back every Tuesday featuring an awesome, fabulous alumnus. I think that's like Lisa. I didn't have Miss Green, so I like. Can't you tell?
I didn't take Latin, so.
So please keep coming back because I think that, as you can see from the 80s on, students that went to community have a heart about them. And we're really, really special people. And I think that we deserve to be together in this way and to celebrate each other in that way, as you've said. So thank you, Lisa, for being here and being my first guest on this weekly gathering. And if there's anything we can do to support you, please let us know.
Will do. I look forward to seeing the next person.
I gotta go look on the list and see who it is, but I
okay.
can't. Stay tuned, everybody. We'll be back next week, though.
Bye-bye.
Much love to you.
Take care.
All right.
Okay. How do I get out of this thing?